Welcome to The Howl. I'm Anthony Williamson, and in this episode, I sat down with Owen Padgett and Adomas Mrazauskas to discuss. In this episode, we focused on their placement in the Robot Rumble and their plans for after the season. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Howl. My name is Anthony Williamson, and the producer of today's show is Johnny Fahey, and we're very excited to have Owen Padgett and Adomas Mrazauskas here in the Dispatch Studio, powered by Jet's Pizza. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Owen Padgett. I'm a senior here at Hersey.
I'm Adomas Mrazauskas, and I'm also a senior here at Hersey, and we both sort of co-led our robotics team this year.
And can you explain what robotics is for people who might not know about it?
So it's a program here at Hersey where you build battle bots. So there's all the D214 schools and D211 and some of the other schools. They spend the year building battle bots, and then in late February, early March, they battle them.
Okay. And what drew you guys to joining the team?
We're both going into engineering, and I think that this is like the perfect. A lot of engineering stuff you don't really it's a lot of at the desk stuff and not like actually building something. But when you build a battle bot, it's very like the skills you learn throughout the classes are applied, and you get to actually test a battle bot. It's cool.
What about you?
Yeah, sort of what Owen was saying, most of the engineering classes here at Hersey don't really, it's not hands-on as much. It's more just sitting at the computer, doing fusion files, and it's not really making something out of what you envisioned. But with robotics, it's you envision something and you create it from the ground up.
I did an engineering class freshman year, and I definitely got that vibe. I did not enjoy the intro class very much, but I feel like that was mostly because it was a lot of Fusion 360 and not really doing anything with those skills. It was kind of just go sit at the computer, make this thing, and then maybe print it, and that was it.
Yeah, and I guess there's some of the fabrication classes. Those is a lot of hands-on, but there's not much computer, and you're not doing big projects where you combine a lot of things. It's like simple welding project or simple machining project. And then there's the high mileage car, which is kind of like that. But the BattleBots is the most thorough, and you do electronics, you do coding, you do mechanical stuff, welding. We even went in graphics and did stickers, stuff like that. So it's the most diverse, I guess.
Or you can do one engineering class your first year, and then do 2 years of fabrication, and then basically you do whatever you want, really, and you have the skills to do whatever you want if you don't want to do robotics. But obviously, robotics is definitely the better option here.
And you both competed in our district's Robot Rumble this year, right? It was the first and second of the month?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first and second.
And what does it mean to do that? What do you really do when you're in there?
The BattleBots is BattleBots. They fight each other. So you build your robot over the months, and then you put in the arena and you fight against other schools' robots. And then if you have some failures, you repair your robot on site with what you have, and it's kind of in the moment. So our first match did not go very well. We had a motor issue because we were using some experimental electronics that didn't work out, and we basically rebuilt our entire robot in 3 hours with new speed controllers, new motors, new wheels, new frame, new motor mounts, everything just to get it to run. And yeah.
So yeah, it's basically 90% of the competition is actually fixing your robot and troubleshooting, and the other 10% is actually fighting in the arena. So.
And what roles do you guys really fill in the crew?
Well, me and Owen are basically co-leaders. We assume most of the responsibility with the robot. We do most of the designs for the robot, and we give out tasks to the people that are newer to the program that don't really know how to do something like welding or using one of the big machines. So that's what me and Owen are.
And when you were in the Rumble, like when you were fixing robots or when you were actually battling, like what did you guys contribute?
Well, me and Owen, for us, it's basically just like getting down to the root of the problem and really trying to figure out what we need to do so that then if there are other problems, we can give somebody a task to fix a problem so that me and Owen can go fix another problem or something, you know.
Okay, so you kind of like get in there and just figure out what to address and get people to address it, and then
and we make
keep
like
doing that.
the big decisions in that time, like what really needs to be done versus what we can kind of put off, and that doesn't really need that much attention.
How did that motor failure that you mentioned come to be? Like, what might have led to that?
So it's kind of I don't really. Do you know how the phases of them? A factory near us closed down, and it's these big robots that move around like stacks of pallets, and we're like, oh, lots of torque in these motors. So we put them in our robot, whatever, and they're, I don't know, there's some phase issue. Basically, the way our old motors work is they're dumb. It's either you give it power and it either turns forward or backward, and the speed controllers are simple.
Because they're brushed motors.
And then the new
these ones are brushless, and they have an encoder which we took off that tells the motor each of the three phases where they are, but for some reason there's still a part of that motor's code that still wants to know where the axle is at all times. So we couldn't figure out a way in time to combat that issue, so we would try to drive and it would just shake and jitter and not move, essentially.
Gave the robot a seizure.
Literally, that's what it did.
And unfortunately, I've heard that your group did not place very well in the event.
No, we did not.
No, we did not, because in that 3 hours of replacing our motors back to the so-called dumb motors that Owen named, we managed to melt a cable of our speed controller. So
How do you melt the cable?
I think it was also our base plate wasn't bolted in the second fight.
That is true. That is true.
We don't.
Okay, that was a big rush to get our robot done.
So,
okay.
But I think it was we were welding. We were just going fast and just welding on a second. So we had to switch to different gearboxes. So we had different gearbox, different motor. So we had a different height on the wheels, and then we had to add another caster ball on the back so that the robot would tip forward because the weight was changed. And I think when we did that, the cord was sitting on it, and it melted that cord.
And it severed connection to that one motor, and just like the first one went, we couldn't move. So, one side moved, but we were we were just spinning the entire time.
You just had a little Beyblade going in the field.
It was the last match of the day, and I was like, just whatever, just send it. Because we were going against Bobby, who was like, we were with Bobby previous years, and our groups kind of split because we wanted to go in different directions. They wanted to build the same robot again for the third time, and we wanted to do something different. And I was kind of just like, whatever. So.
But it is kind of bogus that they had the same motors before that we had, that the brushless motors that I talked about. They had the same ones, and theirs worked much more efficiently than ours. So it's rigged.
That's part of the engineering. It's kind of like what Mr. Hyde was saying is I don't know, we took a risk with it. That's what engineering is trying stuff and fixing it. And we decided, hey, these were not the right choice to use. But maybe if the encoder, someone figures that out in future years, they'll be better. We
do have, Mr. Hyde was talking about at the competition with a guy that knows how to program the motors because he made them. So next year, hopefully, we're going to get in contact with that guy who made the motors, and he can tell us how to obviously figure it out, but we won't be here, so.
Yeah. And so that kind of answered a little bit of this, but what do you think the team might be able to do to like improve what they're doing next year and build upon what you guys have started?
Well, a lot of like stuff this year has been focused on like the last 2 years we were kind of free. It was a little more hands off, and now the teachers are more kind of this year half the program was new students, so they kind of babied us a little more and made us like go through a lot more steps, and they're trying to like refine the process of like, so it's not kind of just stumbling in the dark. Like our freshman year, we're completely no idea what we were doing really, and
However,
it worked out. We got second place.
Whew.
So we've been
However.
getting progressively worse each year, actually.
well,
So maybe-
not me, not me. I built my own robot basically because you guys. I was like a neglected child last year. Okay, I was like a neglected child. I was on my own building that robot, and I still managed to get 5th place. So
Yeah.
I was kind of like the freshman this year that had no idea what was going on last year.
So maybe it's better to just throw them in the water.
Oh
don't
yeah,
think
absolutely. I think absolutely.
I think the organization is. There at a certain point, like our freshman year, there was the fusion files were all off. Basically, we're building a robot just off the dome, just like
Yeah,
random stuff.
I built my robot last year off the dome.
The
It
fusion
was
models-
basically off the
I
dome.
mean, this one we tried a little more to do the fusion, and we were like, okay, we're gonna do the fusion and be organized, and then it like at a certain point it just de-evolved into.
I don't know. It's just
went
kind
back
of
to
annoying
being off
because
the dome.
yeah, because fusion models, I don't know. It's just inconsistent because sometimes stuff doesn't fit, and then you have to make space. So then the fusion model, at like some point in the season, you just start going only off the dome and no fusion. So
Yeah.
So it's like a devolution across the course
No,
of the
yeah,
entire
it starts
thing.
off like organized and like thought out well, and then pretty much as soon as like the pieces get cut out and your frame is welded together for the first time,
It's
and you're
just
like,
cooked.
it's close enough. I mean, that's like it pretty much evolves into it's close enough, and then that's
well, it's also we couldn't really do anything off the fusion models because we also did not have a CNC plasma cutter in which.
Man, always whining about the plasma.
Yeah, I am whining about the plastic cutter. That was such an important like part of our robot that we needed that tool. Like we did.
We had one. We had access to one. We could have.
well,
So
yeah,
also
but
a big
like
part of
So
our
why
thing.
didn't you?
I don't know, because it was a little complicated. Basically, a big part of our robot, we work at a bar together, or restaurant bar called the Red Barn Restaurant and Brewery, 303 East Kensington Road. And that's like a big part of our thing, and we get a lot of connections through there. This guy named Mike, who's an engineer, he went here. He graduated in 2007, and he had a plasma cutter that we could have used, but
you said it's tiny though.
yeah, it would have been enough to do our thing though. It was 2 feet by 2 feet or something.
Okay,
like
but
that.
still, would have been nice to have
Yeah,
a plasma cutter in the
we're
shop.
getting a new one. Our old
well, yeah,
plasma
I
cutter-
know we're getting a new one.
It was like Frankenstein together of just like random parts and like I don't know. Dietrich even was like, "This is garbage."
It was
getting a new
horrible.
one." But the school like funding, like getting money to buy stuff like that is like stupid process.
I can, budgeting
I
makes it
don't
kind of
live at
hard.
Stevenson.
Hmm?
They could get it in a zoo. Stevenson can get in like a millisecond. dude.
Stevenson's also like super rich and has a 3-story building.
That's why I said that.
But okay.
It's okay. It's not about the tools. It's about the people. I don't know what that means.
But all right. Along with all of that, what was the environment of the club like when you knew you'd be competing against another Hersey team in the Robot Rumble? And like, are there any lingering feelings from the competition with how the placements ended up?
No, not really. I don't know.
Not I don't know. Not this year. Definitely our sophomore year. That was absolute. Like, we got robbed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sophomore
Sorry,
year,
I
we
was
got
trying to
robbed.
Beef
make-
involved?
We got robbed. No, sophomore year we got into the losers bracket, and we were probably our record was about like 4-1, and then we fought through the losers bracket all the way to the top. Against in the final match, it's a double elimination, so we had to beat the number 1 robot toy. We are at about probably 11-1 right now.
Yeah,
We-
and the other robot only played like 6 matches.
Yeah, and so we in the first round we exploded their weapon, so their weapon didn't work, and then we, that was the first round. Then we have to do the second round, so we had won the first round, so they were also okay. Now, Mr. Van Bladel comes up and is like, guys, we don't have time for you to swap your batteries. even though it's the last match, and I don't think the 3 minutes it would have taken for us to swap our batteries would have changed anything. We go in, we're low on battery, so Bobby is driving, like understandably driving more passive because we don't want to waste all our battery. Their robot doesn't even have a weapon anymore, so they're just bumping into us. And then whatever, things called, we're like, no, neither robot. If your robot stops moving for 10 seconds, or your robot stops moving, they start a 10-second countdown, and that's when you get eliminated. Now, neither of us were stopped moving, so it goes to a judge's call. And then the judges picked them because we were not aggressive enough.
That's crazy.
Which was just, yeah.
That
But, I mean, it's whatever.
I mean, this year, though, I don't have really any lingering feelings.
Because we got slammed so hard. It's not even...
It's not really our fault.
It's not, we did what we did.
We were the guinea pigs, as Mr. Hyde told me. I mean, there's not much we can do if it doesn't work.
Well, yeah, when you're experimenting like that and you're trying something new for the first time, it makes sense that you might not go as expected.
But we also rebuilt an entire robot in 3 hours.
Which that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, just for it not to work.
Just for it not to. That's so unfortunate, man. I mean, to be fair, the fact that you can put it together in 3 hours like that is insane. Even if you had an idea of what you were going to do.
Well, we could have done it in way less time if we didn't need to go back.
We had people driving to Hersey.
Because Wheeling had 0 tools available. They don't people were using it nonstop, and then there were just some tools that Wheeling didn't have at all, so we had to come back here and grab the tools necessary to finish. So we probably could have done it in an hour if we had all the tools.
That's such a Wheeling moment. And as seniors, you guys are about to take the next steps in your life and go beyond high school and what can offer you. What do you plan on doing next? Are you going to continue on the path of engineering, or was this just a hobby for you?
Oh yeah, I'm continuing engineering. I'm going to Purdue next year, and I plan. I think they have a BattleBots program there, which
do they?
For real BattleBots.
Oh, that's so cool.
So which is I want to continue, so especially since being able to apply. I mean, it's a lot different. The real BattleBots, their weight limit's 250 pounds, and ours is 85.
Is it the televised one?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So
that's
they have
cool.
They compete in that?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, Purdue has 400 clubs or something, even more, 1,000 student organizations, which is kind of crazy. So that's my plan.
That's so cool.
So,
my gosh.
I don't know. I would think robotics would be kind of a hobby for me. I mean, I would love to do it full time. I love doing it. But I am going to Harper first though for that because I still have the Harper Promise, and the goal is to either meet back up with Owen at Purdue, or I go to Michigan Arbor for engineering as well.
Both of those are really solid schools, man.
That is, and I mean, it's a good goal to have.
And what led you to making these decisions? If you continue with robotics or not?
For me, I've always known I was gonna be an engineer, just because it was it's the only thing it really, I guess, spoke to me. But it's really the only thing I like doing for a while. I don't know.
You don't seem to like doing a lot of things.
What is that? We're gonna leave that in.
Yeah, I'm leaving that in.
All right, cool. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I plan on going chemical engineering since I don't really like physics, but I like chemistry, and I don't know. Engineering is just it just makes sense, and it's
Yeah. And what do you think you want to continue with? What made you make that decision?
Well, I do like doing robotics, so I was thinking also I first chose aerospace engineering, and I took Hersey's aerospace engineering course, and again, it was a lot of that by the computer stuff that was super boring, but I don't know, it's just involves a lot of physics, and aerospace, I searched this up, and you need at least a master's to even get a job, so another path I was also leaning to is mechatronics engineering, which is basically an exact robotics engineering type thing. But you can also do mechanical engineering jobs, electrical engineering jobs, and software engineering jobs, because mechatronics is the complete scope of all of that. So I can go anywhere I want with that.
I can't say I've ever heard of mechatronics engineering.
It's not really. It's because I don't know. Most like employers look for like just one specific role and not like the complete set. So
Well, because I guess it's not like one degree is widely applicable, especially with like engineering, because
yeah.
you get a lot of variety out of just the different subsections of it. So I feel like you kind of have to specialize in that field. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to succeed, because you can't be like, a software engineer is very different from a mechanical engineer, and you have to be able to kind of diversify your skills if you want to do anything like that.
Well, yeah, but if you're really good at like doing all three, then you can do anything. I mean, like.
Yeah. And do you guys have like any improvements that you might want the underclassmen to hear before you're gone? Like anything that you really think they should do or they should change within the program?
I think they need to make the robots look better. Ours looked awesome. Like all three. The first year
The
was a little
Liquid Death.
janky. It was our robot was also sponsored by Liquid Death this year, which was cool. So, like, I don't know. These robots need to look a little better.
You're not doing the corporate show for Liquid Death this time?
Corporate show? I don't have any on me. I would. They sent us some free stuff. Do you know where all the grapefruit
I
ones went?
have no clue.
I think it was Gaggiano.
No, Gaggiano took all the.
Are they you got the unreleased flavors, right?
Yeah, they
Or
gave us
something?
some unreleased flavors. Now they're released, but so I guess like 1 month unreleased.
So yeah. What was the question? Yeah, I kind of forgot.
It was like, do you have any ideas for things they can improve while you guys
Oh.
are gone, or anything that you really think they should change in the program?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Owen that like the robots kind of look horrible, especially not throwing any shade on the freshman team, but I was a little misled with their design because they were supposed to be called the stink bug, but they looked like the Hulk machine. So I was a little confused.
The stink
So, and yeah, another thing, like, it's really important for, like, especially, like, newcomers is to understand that the denser the robot will be the better robot because it'll be more solid. Like, for example, Bobby Swanson's robot was really good because, I mean, it's the third time he's building this robot, but his robot is incredibly packed together, and it then makes it like really solid.
So like condensing the weight into one point works.
Oh
way
yeah,
better than spreading it out.
absolutely.
Like ours this year had basically we had an added section on the back that was kind of,
Yeah.
we could have fit stuff a little better if we had spent more time thinking about it like that, but yeah.
It was basically I was trying just to fit those motors that we got from the warehouse. So that was the main focus this year. Otherwise, I don't know. I definitely think our robot could have been more dense this year.
And you two, like, you self-admittedly filled the leadership roles on the team throughout the process of building. Are there any students in the program that you feel will really step up when you guys are gone, and who they might be?
Colin's little brother.
I don't know. He was barely there. I barely saw
No,
him.
he was the one carrying Jack's team, I think.
No, Jack was actually.
You
think so?
Yeah, Jack Stozer.
And,
I saw
Michael's
Jack at
friend.
the machines a lot when I would go in there.
Yeah, Jack
Really?
was
I didn't
doing a lot, and then I think Lano's
Oh,
definitely gonna be a good
Lano
one.
Smith.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be a good team leader next year.
What has he shown this year that might make you think that?
Well, it's sort of like since Bobby was like kind of doing his own thing, and Bobby has his like, we call it the Bobby way. He just does everything by himself basically. So Lano didn't really get to work on the robot because I don't know, Bobby was doing his own thing. So Lano would actually go to other teams and help them out, and I would often see him like doing stuff for other teams rather than like his own team.
So he didn't just focus on himself.
Yeah, and then in my fabrication class in second period, he kind of assumes the role of like the leader of the high mileage project because I don't know, he just does the most work out of that, I feel like, and he just like tells everybody when to get this done, or So yeah, I think he's gonna be a great leader next
No,
year.
I think he's definitely a hard worker. Even like the first half of my robotics season was spent building a Christmas tree, and he was even helping me with that.
He helped you with the Christmas tree?
Yeah, he was doing some of the like
Joint effort.
The bottle reusing.
no, with just cutting like a lot of we had to make 80 little pegs, so he just cut out 80 little one sections and
Dang.
helping with stuff like that, just because he wanted to, which was cool.
And are there any real last comments you'd like to make before we finish our time here?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Nah.
Nothing to say to the wonderful viewers at home?
There are viewers?
Who watches?
No, I'm
Where
joking.
does this go?
This goes on the Dispatch website.
Oh.
I'll
no
cobble
one's-
it together and edit some stuff and cut out some things
Can
that
you
don't
cut
need to
out
be
this
there.
part? Cut out right here. Hit the thingy. No, like.
I know.
Okay.
I know what you meant.
Okay, dude. I just want to know. First off, I would like to comment. He's over in the corner, yawning and watching TikTok and staring at me.
That's just
then
how Johnny
also-
works, bro.
Okay, dude, and it's a little distracting there, bud.
That's on me.
Diabolical.
And then also, who watches this?
People.
Does anyone watch this, or is this just for your grade?
What's our highest viewed podcast? We had one that was
12.
like,
I had a podcast get like 377 or something.
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
like we get decent
Is it like
viewership.
parents or who? I don't.
Parents, kids
Parents.
in the school who might be involved with the program, things like that.
understand. Oh no.
It's like, especially like if it's football, baseball, or
Oh, well,
soccer
yeah.
themed, they'll get a lot.
Okay.
When you wrap it up here, give it a everyone give like a shout out, like any person.
Oh yeah, I'd like to. I'd like to shout out.
Hold on,
Not
give
yet,
it-
not
give
yet.
it a second, give it a second. Also, I should have reminded you, you gotta move that thing. It's just in the frame now. The
It's
whole
broken,
time.
bro.
Just the whole time.
Yeah,
fine.
why do we have
It's
like? Why is there a
fine.
broken
Yeah,
one,
we'll take
man?
a
What
bite out
is
of
this?
Yeah, I'll take a bite out of it.
Oh, cool.
Who? Who took a bite out of it?
I don't know. It looks like someone took a bite.
Sorry, dog. I was hungry. All right. Can we move on to
All
the?
right,
Can we
all
move,
right.
Can we wrap it up here, folks?
Yeah. All right,
Jesus.
buddy. While we're about to wrap out, is there anyone you guys would like to shout out?
I would like to shout out the Liquid Death rep for Chicago for sponsoring our team.
And shout out to Mr. Hyde, my OG.
I'm gonna shout out Samai because it's Samai, bro. I can't.
So
not.
he did nothing.
He did nothing.
That's why
I
he's
would
at
like
the
to-
bottom
let's-
of our t-shirts.
Yeah, exactly. We made a T-shirt. Samay was on. Shout out Samay.
You put him at the bottom?
He wore a boombox for the whole competition. One of our other sponsors was Sean the DJ Chicago. Shout out. And he gave us a boombox, and we put a chain on it, and Samay wore it around his neck the whole competition.
The whole
Played, like,
competition.
sexy red. And
How
Drake
big was
on
the
it.
boom
We were-
box?
It was. I have a
Wasn't that
picture. You
bad.
want to see?
I would love to.
Okay, dude. Can we put this on screen, please?
If you send it to me.
Yeah, sure, dude. Hold on, I gotta find. Here we go. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for today's show. Thanks to Owen, Padgett, and Adomas Mrazauskas for coming onto the show today, and thanks to our viewers for tuning in. Also, thanks to our sponsor, Jet's Pizza, right over there on Rand Road. And that'll do it for this episode. I'm Anthony Williamson, and on behalf of Johnny Fahey, thanks again, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.